Hi, I'm Ben Hanawalt, Product Specialist here at Atlas Copco. And today we're going to be going over a general PF6000 hardware overview. So looking at the controller itself, one thing you'll notice is it's about 30% smaller than its predecessor. So what this means is that we've been able to reduce the size and the weight of the controller itself. We've added a carrying handle over onto the right-hand side that can help you with carrying the controllers out onto the line, swapping out controllers, things like that. We've also added some heat sinking onto the side of the controller itself. What this helps with is if we do mount controllers right next to each other, it's able to dissipate heat in a more effective way. You'll also notice the cable connector is on the bottom of the controller now, as opposed to behind the controller in the past. This has been a huge quality of life improvement, having the cable on the bottom of the controller itself. We also have the power, the on-off switch is actually on the bottom of the controller itself. And then all of our I/O connections are going to be on the inside of the screen. So this is a 7-inch resistive touchscreen display. And you're going to see two keys. One of them is a result and one is for a home screen. This screen that we're on right now, this is the home screen. So going into the I/O, when we go onto the inside of the screen, on the inside of the actual controller faceplate, you'll notice that we have the IAM itself. So this is where you're going to plug in the IAM. This is really important. This is required for operation of the controller itself. Going into the I/O, we have from left to right, we've got a Class 3 e-stop. So that could be interfaced with a customer PLC or a customer line stop. We also have the remote start. This is now a dip switch, so there is no more jumper. This is just a dip switch. You turn it on if you want to remote start the tool, and you turn it off if you are not interested in remote starting the tool. We also have 24 volts in and 24 volts out. The 24 volts in can actually supply up to 1.25 amps at 24 volts, so that's important to know. A very common question on the amperage of the 24 volts. We also have our digital inputs and our digital outputs. So this is going to be for discrete I/O points that are wired into the controller itself. Start triggers, proc switches, anything that you want to wire into the controller. Below that we have our I/O bus. So this is actually going to be a max I/O connector for any Atlas Copco accessory. A couple things to note about that. Let's say, for example, we had 5 socket trays that we wanted to wire together. What you'll notice is there's only one connector on the controller itself. So the additional accessories are all daisy chained between the devices. So only one connector on the controller itself, and then the rest of them would be daisy chained together. To the left of that, we have our COM port A and COM port B. This is going to be used specifically for PF6000 with sync systems. So when you're syncing multiple controllers, this is the cable connector that we sync between the controllers. Next, we have the USB connector. So there's a USB connector right here on the inside. This can be used for connecting a scanner or updating the software on the controller itself. We have an Ethernet port. This is going to be for the factory Ethernet port, so for interfacing to the customer's network. But next to that, we have the AnyBus CC card. So this is actually where we would install our field bus card. We have 6 supported field bus types on the PF6000, but keep in mind, none of those come pre-installed on the PF6000 itself. So you would order the card separately, and then you'd have to install. So all you do for this to install is you actually just punch out the plastic. There's a little plastic piece. If I put some pressure on it, it'll remove itself. And then we remove that and plug in the AnyBus card right into there. Keep in mind to be very careful about the pin connectors that are on the connector board on the PF6000. Below that, we have our placard. This is providing all of our part number, information about the controller, where it's made, ETL certification. Next to that, we have our internal breaker that's actually for the controller itself. And then below that, we have our power connector. So this is the power connector for the PF6000 right on the face of the controller. So that's been a general overview of the hardware of the PF6000. There's been some significant changes from its predecessor, and most of them have been very good quality of life improvements for the controller itself. So I hope this has been informative for you, and if you do have any additional questions, please feel free to contact your product marketing team and we can get you some answers. Thank you.